There we go. What's going on, everybody? And you are live with The Managers, where we discuss everything fantasy football. And this week is no different. We are getting into who you want to start and who you want to sit for this week's 8 in the NFL. And we've got some contests up this week. A lot of close calls, a lot of start-sit decisions. We're right in the middle of this season, so everybody's wondering who they got to pick up. A lot of QBs out. There's a lot of decisions to be made, and we're here to help support you through these decisions. Well, Maker, joined by always. How are you doing? I am a little bit under the weather myself, so bear with me.
Hey, the sickness is going around, so it's all good.
And bear with us both. We are adjusting our podcasting setup as we go here. But let's get into the matchups this week. There's a lot going on and a lot to cover. And first, I want to cover this Thursday game, and that's the Vikings taking on the LA Chargers at home. The Vikings are coming back from London, and they're coming off a tough game and going into some more hot water. We got the Chargers, who are favored to win in this one, and it doesn't look like an even contest here. Who who are your start sits on this contest? Because there are a lot of players to consider here. One for me specifically, which is Addison.
Yeah, Addison, I think is a great play right now. Um, Jordan Mason, especially if Aaron Jones still doesn't play. Um, um, let's see here, Justin Jefferson for sure. So those three are confident plays this week.
Well, we have our first question coming in. We got Roan coming in with a pick three out of these ones. We got McConkey, Waddle, Diggs, or Addison. Myself, it's between Waddle or Diggs that I'm dropping, and I just got no faith in Tua after last week's performance, so I'm gonna say drop Waddle out of those three, especially with this away game coming up. How do you feel?
I mean, yeah, I think Diggs has been pretty consistent most of his games. There's there's some bits there that I feel like he's still going to get play and like let me just because I have him on my team. Like he's
Yeah,
a decent flex
absolutely.
position. So
Uh,
like this past week against the Titans, 7 for 69. He didn't do great against the Saints, but then the week prior, 12 targets, 10 receptions for 146 yards, and the week before that, 6 for 7 for 100. And yeah, those are great weeks for him. But at the same time, this week they are against the Browns, which have a pretty tough defense. Hmm. I mean, if we're just talking this week, I might play Waddle against Atlanta this week just because it's an easier defense. Um, he didn't do so hot this past week though, but that was against the Browns, so that's fair.
so, just to solidify my pick here, Waddle is going up Atlanta's defense, which is first in against the passing.
The passing,
Yeah. They are
I like.
20th on the rushing yards, so easy for the run-ins, but I don't know about the passing. I'd still say Waddle doesn't have the best chance out of those three. Also, Addison is not the number one guy. All of those other three are the number one guys. So,
McConkey hasn't really been the number one guy. Like it's Herbert has been off and on who's the big star of the week. Usually it's Ben Johnston, but that was mostly at the beginning of the season. Now we're seeing Lad get more playtime, which is good for those who picked up Lad. But yeah,
all right. So, the Rudigs analysis is drop Waddle out of there, and then Maker. Who are you going with to drop?
if it's just this week, I would probably sit Diggs. That's just
There you
me.
have it. There you have it. And just to back up that pick, Diggs, the Patriots, they are at home against the Browns. And let's see the Browns defense against the passing yards. They are fourth best in the season. So yeah, both tough defenses to go up against when it comes to the passing.
Yeah.
All right, but thanks for the questions. We'll be taking questions like that all evening long as we get through our analysis. So let's get back into who we're starting. We're talking Vikings. Who do we like in the Vikings? Unfortunately, JJ McCarthy, he's not coming back. We're getting Carson Wentz. And how are you feeling about him? He did have an over 300 game. However, that came with 2 interceptions. So that brought his score way down. He's not afraid to rush, but are you playing Carson Wentz in an away game?
I think if you're in a superflex league, he's a superflex option. But if I'm not in that, he definitely wouldn't be my first pick. Uh,
So passing, we see the Vikings with Carson Wentz 12th best overall in the season when it comes to passing. So definitely top 12 is something promising. He's not afraid to throw the ball. But definitely when you're matched up with the opposite with the Chargers, who are second best in passing over a year, I think that's where you want to start your QB when comparing both of these.
yeah. I mean the
Justin
Chargers.
Herbert.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say just the matchup I do think is a better matchup for him than the past like couple games. Like he was up against the Eagles and the Browns. So I don't think he's a bad option per se. It's just there are better like top QBs to pick from.
Yeah, in a 10 man league, in a 12-man league where you're only playing one QB, he's definitely not part of that top 10, so he wouldn't be my recommendation. And the matchup doesn't really suit him. We got the defense for the Chargers, 7th best against the pass. So that may stop once. I'm definitely not looking at starting him in a 1 QB league this week. And Roan, no worries. We love the questions. So he asked Pachenko or JCM. And that one's close to your heart. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you take that one. I'll pull both up their stats here.
if it were me, I'm going Pacheco on that one. But that's just because he still got a good amount of work last week, despite Rashard Smith taking a chunk of it. Washington defense isn't the best compared to Krosky Merritt, which you're gambling with him because it's like, is he going to get that big run? Is he going to break out? Because the last 2 weeks, since I have Krosky Merritt on my team, he has not done that. And if it were because he's on my team, I would bench him this week because the Chiefs do have a tough defense.
Yeah, the issue when you're looking at the Chiefs is you can see their script is really not to run the ball a lot. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I believe, is leading the teams in rushing yards. Their running backs don't get that much attention. You got Kareem Hunt with some goal line work. It's just so inconsistent the way they share that ball in the back. But Bill Krosky.
Yeah,
He's
Bill
just
Krosky.
not. He goes up and down. It's unpredictable what kind of points you're gonna get. He's flex at best with a ceiling, and your fingers crossed that he doesn't get under 10 for a PPR. Where Pachenko, in recent weeks, his floor is at least 10 points. So
Yeah.
your floor is safer with Pachenko.
It's a safer play, yeah.
But
I'd say
with
if your matchup is relatively close, I would stick with Pacheco.
And let's take a look at the defense. So when you're looking at both defense, you got the Kansas City, which are 15th best against the rush, so not that great. And then you have Washington, which are 21st allowing those rushing yards. So again, not both teams are not that fantastic with stopping the rush. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tough call. Pachenko has the safer floor. And then Hawkinson or Fannin. Again, Maker, what does this guy have? Your league, your team in front of him?
I mean, I used to have Fannin, but I dropped him when I saw Njoku taking the work, and then obviously someone in our league picked him up, and I regretted it since. I would play Fannin. Just he's got more explosiveness, and if I'd especially play him if Njoku is out. You could watch it. I think Hawk will be a consistent tight end who will get you that 6 to 8 points, which is like decent for a tight end. Whereas Fannin, I think he's another one that has, if you look at his record, he has a higher potential, higher ceiling. Um, he'll get
Well,
you more points if he breaks out.
an update, very recent, coming in Njoku, and I know this because I have him on my roster. He was sitting in IR. It looks like he was limited at practice, and what it's saying here is it looks like he will have a good chance to make his return to the lineup week 8, and that would mean less work for rookie Harold Fannin. So you definitely want to pay attention to that because if Njoku is practicing on Thursday in full, then that's going to cut into Fannin's work, into his numbers 100%.
Yeah, that is true. Because like it's so interchangeable. If Njoku's there, it like Fada could still do well, but like it's a toss up. So like if you're more like I said, if you want a safer play, if Njoku's playing, play Hawk. If Njoku's not playing, play Fanon.
But I mean, Hawkinson is just, it's a tough one to play because he has a good name, but he just hasn't been the same since his injury. You're lucky if you get 10 points with him, and this season he hasn't really hit that. So if you're looking for tight ends, I mean, hit that waiver wire, right? And try to get that new guy everybody's been talking about, or Orlando, right? Would you be
And
trying
what
to go after him
I,
if
I I mean, if Gadsden isn't taking on your league, I'd probably look into getting Gadsden. He killed it this week.
There you go. So more tight ends if you have more options, which I think are better than Hawkinson and Fannin.
I
All
just I
right.
just think Herbert's in a tossing team, so they're gonna throw it more to Gadsden.
Well, speaking of the Vikings, let's talk tight ends. Hawkinson, as you say, is he going to get much work in the Thursday game, or is he a sit for you?
He's an okay tight end option. Um, so like if if you're hurt for tight ends and you can't pick up anyone on the waiver, I would play Hawk. Um, he's he's just solid is all it is. As of before, a consistent 6 to 8 points around
Well,
like on
Chargers are
average.
typically allowing for 3+ touchdowns a game against them. So that really looks for Hawkinson. Could he get a touchdown as part of those three? Does a slant play work at the end? Especially with a running game that's a bit more questionable. Aaron Jones, not sure if he's going to be there or not. Is Mason going to be get through, or is a pass to Hawkinson that much safer? We'll see what Wentz feels like. Definitely with 9 targets in the last game, that makes you feel a bit more comfortable playing him. However, his yards per carry just down under 5, so it's tough. He's getting stopped right away.
That was also against the Eagles, so um, that
Yeah,
could
the
be
Eagles are good.
why.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, switching over to the Chargers for tight ends. I mean, that's the talk of the town, the flavor of the week, right?
Oh yeah.
Is he a play for you this week on your roster? So
Um,
Will Daisley's not even part of the questions, right? It's all about Gadsden.
he didn't get much play last week, so I think Gadsden is a solid pick. He has a lot of potential, a high ceiling. Like we saw how well he did last week, 164 yards is insane for a tight end, and he got a touchdown. Um, Man, and even the week before that against the Dolphins, it was 7 for 8 for 68, no
Yeah, the
touchdown.
signs were there. If you picked him up
Yeah,
last week because you saw that trend going up, you're a genius.
I wish I'd seen it. Well, I mean, it's always a gamble because if you ever see a tight end who's not scoring a bunch and then all of a sudden he jumps up, it's you're taking a gamble because it could just be a 1 week thing.
Yep, and but it looks like people are talking really great about him, and it looks like he could be more a part of this back end or this offensive force moving forward. So good rookie, definitely looks like he's going to see a lot more targets. 8 or 9 targets per game would be fantastic. I don't need 164 yards, even 100 is good, and a touchdown.
I think they're gonna throw it a lot. So whoever's got Gadsden, it's a good pickup.
Well, the Vikings have allowed on average 3 touchdowns per game, and hopefully we're looking at Gadsden for one of them. Now, how do you feel about the running staff? Vidal, he didn't have as great of a performance against the Colts last week, so are you cold on Vidal or are you hot? Are you bringing him back? Because he had one great week with 124 rushing yards, then he's back down to 20.
So I saw that Haskins is probably not going to play. So Vidal, I think, is going to be. Uh, yeah, let me double check. Yeah,
Yep.
Haskins is already ruled out for this. So Vidal, to me, if he is your substitute, like if you had Amari and he got injured, you play Vidal. Um,
I think the
because
Vikings
he's the main
defense are
running
going to
back.
be a lot more forgivable against the rush, allowing on average 117 yards per game, where the Indiana Colts probably were a lot more devastating when it came to their stopping the rush. And that's probably why we saw the game script go a little bit in the other, yeah, in the other favor. So typically the Colts have been sixth best rushing, stopping the rush, so allowing on average 90 yards per game. And that's why. I mean, they just came up against a force. They saw the plays and they stopped him. But he may get definitely more play against the Vikings, as they're not as good as stopping the rush. So I see a at least uptrend, not as big as Miami in a game like that, but definitely somewhat of an uptick than 20.
Yeah, I agree.
What would you say if you had to bet 50 yards,
I think it might be more than that.
64 yards and a touchdown?
I could. That's about right. I could see that.
All right. Well, we'll hang on and see if that happens. Now on the Vikings, who are you looking at for running? Because the staff there is not looking fantastic. We got Aaron Jones, who update on him. We're still watching to see if he will be participating. It's still up in the air. Um, and that leaves you with Jordan Mason. Uh, and are you playing
Yeah,
him? He's got a touchdown in the
I would.
past 2 games.
I would definitely play him just because
Oh, I think
even
you're
if
on mute.
Aaron Jones, huh? Can you not hear me?
Or is that me?
I think that's you.
I see you have volume, but for some reason I
Can you hear
can't
me?
hear you.
Yeah, your audio is cutting out a little. Not sure if that's on your end.
Okay, apparently you're coming up on the stream, but just not in my ear, which is weird. Maybe if I leave and come back. Is this?
Can you hear me now?
Oh my god, for some reason I'm just getting no audio from you, but I can see it coming through the stream.
Yeah. If you're using a volume mixer,
That is
just make sure
weird.
it's turned up or um
Oh, I did get an answer from Callie though.
oh. Did you leave it in the message in the live room?
Sorry, anybody who's watching. We are experiencing technical difficulties. How do I fix it? I guess the only way to fix this would be to shut down Discord. And then hopefully it'll come back. And in the meantime, hopefully everyone's doing well. I think Jordan Mason is definitely a fantastic pick. I like to see consistency. So seeing a week, 3 weeks in a row, 18, 17, 18, and then 2 touchdowns on the pass, it definitely is encouraging. You can see him getting over 50 yards. Is this working? No, first, what is... Okay, I'm going into my settings. Okay. And this is very strange and frustrating. That's crazy. I would just like, we were talking 1 minute and then it decided to completely go out. Here's my headsets. I'm gonna try switching my headsets. All right, well, definitely would go with Jordan Mason. Oh, there we go. Okay, maybe it was just my headset side. I can hear you now. All right. Now that we're back to that, you let me know if you think that Jordan Mason's trend of just getting 50 yards a game is worrying. Is he only valuable when he gets a touchdown? Yeah. What's going on with him? It's 50 yards a game. I guess Carson Wentz is just more geared towards throwing.
Those are tough matchups. And so in those tough matchups, you're going to be throwing the ball more. And I do worry that might be the case with the Chargers as well. Um, so, I mean, just beware that that might be the case.
Well, speaking of Chargers and their throwing game, who do you like in the wide receiving staff? Obviously, I know you are playing the slot receiver, which is back in action. Quentin Johnston. However, did his last performance scare you from playing him again this week? Um, His last two
Uh,
weeks have been a lot lower. I will say that.
yeah, that is true. It's a little scary, but the targets are still there. You know, he got 6 targets last game. I also think that um, his how well he's been doing is probably indicative of those numbers. Is I think maybe that allowed Ladd or Keenan Allen to become more open. Because like if you see Keenan Allen did really well last game, so I think it was his best game of the season. Um, so yeah, I think that's I guess the danger of it is Herbert has the ability to pass to 3 good wide receivers. And so if Johnson's not available or the fact that he only caught 2 out of 6 passes to me is indicative of it was probably a tough game and he was covered a lot. Um, because if you look at his record, he's usually not that bad in terms of the catching game. Um, and so yeah, uh,
Is
Lad,
Quentin Johnston a play for you? Start sit?
I would play him personally. I think Vikings are a better matchup than the Colts. So I'm hoping that's going to lead to him getting more catches.
And we
Um,
got Lad or Keenan. If you had to play one or the other, who would you pick?
I'd go with Lad. I think it's a tough play because as I said before, it could swap to any one of them. So
But
you're
Lad has
still
a lot of
relatively good in
consistent
playing.
numbers. All these guys have really consistent
Yeah.
numbers. So it's good to see a share. You're pretty much safe with a good floor on any of these guys.
Yeah.
Now, can that be said for the same on the Vikings edge? We got Justin Jefferson. He's always a play, always a start, right?
Yep. For
So,
sure.
that being said, we got Addison number 2 and Naylor number 3. Addison, this is obviously the one I'm debating. However, he's hit that 3 week of consistency over 10. So I think it may be time to slot him in. And the matchup is good against the Chargers. They're allowing 3 touchdowns per game, and it could lead to some shootout. And Addison's fast, right? He's
Yeah.
emerging as a must start fantasy option.
I'm hoping this game is full of passing, tons of great passes. So um, that's my like cross my fingers. Not so much Jefferson. I want Addison to get a lot of those catches. You know what I mean?
Who's got Jefferson?
Kevin.
I see. Well, that's the
um,
thing. See, if they're
and he's got
always
Jordan Mason.
covering Jefferson, that's what's giving Addison this freedom to really catch the ball. And
Yep.
I'm really hoping that that's the script because obviously Jefferson is an elite wide receiver. I mean, every time he gets the ball, his yards per carry are just amazing. Last week, 16 yards per carry. The week before, 17.5 yards per carry. It's just really great every time he catches the ball. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping they focus on that and that leaves time for the Addison parade. And Naylor, just ignore him. Nobody needs him to
Yep.
get the ball.
Yep. Yep. Don't play Naylor.
Although, like, all the wide receiving staff is just amazing. The fact that he did 18.5 yards per carry with 2 receptions, I it's just great. It's great when he gets those types of runs, and just goes to
Yeah.
show that that is an outside pick in a very deep league. This is going to be hopefully a heavy passing game. But I can't recommend wholeheartedly Naylor. It would just be Jefferson and Addison.
He just doesn't get the targets.
Now, how are you feeling about the defense here? Vikings have
Mm,
obviously come out with a record breaking defensive number early on in the week. However, they
oh, is he?
are away, and They're coming up against the Chargers.
I I think it's a tough one because I think they're both great offenses. I particularly I wouldn't play either one. But that's just me. I think I mean if it goes the way that the Chargers were playing last week, I think Vikings could be a good defense. I just think there are better options out there this week.
Well, Herbert did throw 2 interceptions last game, so the Vikings could be trying to get on that one, but we'll see. Definitely some better matchups to pick between the two. So who do you think is going to take the win on the Vikings versus the Chargers? If you had to pick, the Vikings 3-3, the Chargers 4-3, and we're at home in the Chargers. The Vegas odds at MGM betting are saying the Chargers are winning by 3.5 points. Yeah, it's gonna be tight. All the experts are kind of pointing to the Chargers having the better stats.
Yeah, I think like if last week is indicative of the Chargers, they will fight even if they're up against a struggle. So I think they have a better chance of winning this one. Even though that they did lose last week against the Colts, it's just you're facing off against probably the top three team against the Colts because they've just been consistently good this whole year. Um, so
So you're throwing it into the Chargers.
yeah.
All right, well, there you have it. And that's what the majority is saying. They're going 84% Chargers. And that's what we have it there. So our next game here is the Dolphins against the Falcons. And oh, the Dolphins, they are in a place right now. Do you see them doing anything against the Atlanta Falcons? They're 1-6 right now, where the Falcons are 3-3. On top of that, the Falcons will be playing at home. It's not looking good for Miami. Um,
Yeah, if it's anything, when they're at home, Penix does seem to play better, but Penix currently has a bone bruise, so if he doesn't play this week, um, then you got Kirk Cousins. I still think it's an easy win for the Falcons, especially with how poorly Tua has been playing. Either Tua is going to show up and play extremely well against the Falcons and probably win the game, or more likely, I think the Falcons have a good defense, as you've said before. Um, I think, man, yeah, I just think it's going to be a big running game for the Falcons.
yeah, you want Bijan getting those points.
I do. I really do. I need a 50-60 pointer.
Yeah, well, we see the Falcons are favored by over a touchdown, which is a huge margin. Definitely, they are the favored. They lead in every single aspect and every single stat. Miami Dolphins have just not been showing up. Um, and lo and behold, they have allowed the most amount of rushing yards for any team in the NFL. On average, 159 rushing yards allowed against the Miami Dolphins. So, and then in comparison, yeah, the Falcons are not even that much better, but at 20th, they're allowing on average 124. So you may want to take a look at Achane as a possible
Yeah.
play this week. They may not trust Tua to throw it all too much, but Achane may get in for a lot more work, especially when, Atlanta's known for being a bit weaker on the defense when it comes to rushing. However, on the passing defense, they are swatting the ball like no tomorrow. They are the best in the league, allowing on average 155 passing yards. So you want to watch out on the pass, especially with this QB. I don't see Tua really connecting on the pass, especially when he's playing a superior passing defense. So I would say I wouldn't start anybody on the wide receivers if you don't have to for the Dolphins this week. They need to figure out
I
what's
don't.
happening with Tua, especially with that performance last week.
Um. Yeah, I think you can still play wide receivers on that game. Just know that it is a tougher matchup. So
Who?
don't expect like the highest
No
numbers.
wide receiver on that team got over 10 points last game. Waddle got 2.5. Malik 8. And then their slot receiver 4. It's just I don't Tua can't
I think it's gonna be a better game than that though. I don't
it's
think
a
that they're always gonna play like that awful.
but Atlanta is a superior passing defense than the Cleveland.
It is, but you know, I just see it as it's I don't think they're gonna play as bad as they played last week because they're gonna want to do better this week. So they're gonna
Here's
try harder to
here's the
win.
other thing. If and this is going a bit off script here, but if you watch the Netflix documentary called Game Changers, they go over the Miami Dolphins. And the Miami Dolphins, when they're on an away game, which they will be in Atlanta, they are just going to scarf down Popeyes before the game. That is their pre-game food. And I'm telling you, third quarter, that Popeyes it's going to run through their system. They are not going to be performing top caliber
No, they're gonna use the fuel
of the
from
Popeyes.
IDX to win. They're gonna be like, I need to get out of this game. Let's do it.
I gotta
Let's
get to
win it.
I gotta finish and go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Let's hurry up so defense gets out there.
All right. I'm going Achan is my start, my only startable pick in all of the Dolphins. Darren Waller, IR. You hate to see it. I know you hate to see it.
I do. I just traded for him too last week.
What do you feel about the tight end situation? I mean, that is where Tua feels comfortable throwing 5 yards, you know? So that tight end slot really becomes a lot more popular. The waiver wire, are you looking at any of these guys? Tanner Connor, Julian Hill.
I think Connor might do well. He got 3 targets last week. Um, Julian Hill had 2 targets, only 1 yard. That's not great. And he was in for
No.
60% of the snaps.
Yeah, so he was in the
Uh,
most but did the least.
yeah,
So,
he got close.
and
Like
he's
I would
questionable.
not pick him either one up.
Yeah, no, there's nobody really emerging here. You know who I could see, which would be great for everybody? Put Njoku on this team. Then Fannon's numbers will go
I
up.
I do think that would be a smart play by Dolphins, but I don't think they're gonna do that. They're already in such a bad position right now.
The amount of money they spent on Tua is insane, insane, insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how they have any more money. So the big one is definitely, um, I just can't see the Dolphins playing that well. But every Sunday surprises me. Maybe
Yeah.
Tua snaps back and he's like, I can't lose my job. And he just connects with Waddle and 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. Plus, he brings Connor into this, gets another touchdown that way. Or Achan brings another one in. You never know with the script, but the statistics definitely point in the way of Atlanta. So you're
Yeah.
starting Bijan. Who do you like on the wide receivers?
London.
Are you playing Mooney? Are you playing Agnew?
Um, I think if you're in a super flex, or if you're in a flex league, Mooney might be a flex position just because the volume's going to be, well, actually, no, I think there's going to be too much run game. Maybe not Mooney. Like if they run the ball a lot, that means there's less opportunities for him. So
Yep, they're going to be ahead and they're going to be running. So, I mean, is London even playable? Is Pitts even playable? The tight end, Kyle Pitts, obviously emerging as, 10 targets, 7 receptions. He definitely was soaking up a lot of Drake London's catches, which I wasn't a fan of. Uh, but then again, Drake London, 10 targets, but only 4 receptions. San Francisco, though, tough on that defense.
they were down a lot, so they're getting him the ball. It usually if you're in a tight spot, you throw to your tight end, and I think that's the scenario of last week. I probably wouldn't play Pitts this game.
Really?
Yep.
You just think it's a London Bijan? Those are your only starts you'd be comfortable with in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean Pitts might be like your backup tight end. I think he is a good backup for this week. But with the tight ends that are sprouting up this past week, I just don't see an option. Like a, I see better options that are available.
You see, I don't know if Maker's playing 4D chess and he's trying to get in my head to play Drake London over Addison or something, or if he's really saying not to play Pitts. But I'm gonna go with the truth, and I definitely say Pitts is possibly a sell high candidate. Then right now, you maybe want to, get some good trade value out of him. He's just coming off of a really good game. Right now is the best time, a good hype to get him on. If you're looking to make some movements in those tight end positions, otherwise keep him. I think there will be more games like the New England game, like a Carolina game, where
I
they're
think Pitts is
using
going to get
Pitts
a
a
lot
lot
of.
more.
Yeah, like you said, you mentioned the New England Patriots game. That's where a great game I'd play Pitts.
Also, don't forget about the Jets. Now, the Jets have a great defensive strategy where they are always blocking the number one wide receiver. So, in games when you're playing up against the Jets, the wide receiver two and the slot and the tight end always are getting better numbers against the Jets than the wide receiver one. So, interesting statistic when it comes against that defense. So
I did not know that, but I mean, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, because Leggett did so well last week.
yeah, it was just something that I would pass on, especially if you see yourself playing the Jets. It may be something you want to take a look at when it comes to your wide receiving staff you're looking to put on. And defensively, are you playing the Atlanta Falcons this week? Because how can you not against this matchup?
It would be a good play this week. I would say
I
that.
mean, I'm kind of convincing myself. That may be my waiver wire. I mean, I don't want to tell the
Hey,
fellow person on the.
hey, hey, I have the Colts this week,
Yeah.
so I'm good.
So, Ray, you better not be listening. All right. Well, other than that, where's my mouse here? So, we're calling the Falcons as a win on this one.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, how can you not? But if the upset happens, I'm gonna be pissed. If
I mean, there's always that slim chance, and like Tua might want to prove himself.
Yeah, if he wanted to prove himself, I mean, there's been 6 losses. Prove your like. I feel like the 3 rule you brought up is very good. because if you can't prove yourself in 3 games, then chances are you
Yeah.
probably aren't going to do it in the fourth.
I mean, I thought that about Fannin, and then he showed up.
There you have it. All rules can be broken. Well, I know the rule with my wife, and I've got one more game I can go over here. So let's talk about the Bears and the Ravens. Now, here is a team that is 1-5. They're coming off of the bye, and I want you to know this statistic I heard earlier today. The Ravens in 2024, after the bye, won 3 games in a row. The Ravens in 2023, after the bye, won 4 games in a row. So could the Ravens do it again after the bye at home? I mean, maybe. I mean, they are favored to win in this matchup. Um, they
They're
haven't
getting
been
Lamar back.
they haven't been connecting, but they could be connecting. How do you feel about this game? Who are the players you like?
Lamar, Derrick Henry, I mean maybe Zay Flowers. I do think he'll get an increased workload if Lamar's back. Uh, oof. I think Mark Andrews is going to do pretty decent. He's not the best tight end, but
Yeah, we got Likely, who was in for 81% of snaps before the bye. So, I mean, there's a big candidate for tight end. But you also got Mark Andrews, who was also in for 78% of snaps. So they're both playing
yeah.
a lot of balls, 6 targets, but Likely only getting 2. So you give it to the veteran for best chance of getting more volume, but not
Yeah.
my top pick for tight ends.
No, they're not the top pick, but I think they'll do decent.
Well, he is
Oh,
better
Mark
than a
Andrews is pretty good.
Loveland or even a Komet right now. So you're better off playing the Ravens tight ends, I feel, this week.
Well,
Oh,
actually,
okay. What do you say?
Komet mispractice. So if Komet's out, that means Loveland's going to get an increased workload.
Oh, way to catch that. I did not see that 6 hours ago. He did not participate in Wednesday's practice. So that is a big shout out and definitely leaves definitely leaves a lot of work opportunity up for Loveland.
Yeah, I think Loveland has opportunity here. We're going to see. I probably wouldn't play him, but I could see him getting a good 30, 40 yards this week. So, it's going to be a decent game for him. Like I think the equivalent of TJ Hawkinson when we asked earlier. He's not your first option this week, but he is a watch candidate because if Komet is out for multiple weeks, then Loveland has potential of being a really good tight end.
All right, now how do you feel about the Bears? I know you're gonna play one of these Bears, the Adunze. I can never say his name.
Yeah,
Rome.
yeah. You had it, Rome Odunze. Yeah.
Is DJ more playable, or are people just fed up with
Um,
this under 10-point score for the majority of the season?
well, the thing is, DJ Moore didn't practice today.
Oh, here it is, listed as DMP 6 hours ago. So, I mean, that's even more of a script for Loveland. You are convincing me to go on the freaking waiver wire for Loveland now. Somebody doesn't already have him.
He has potential.
Rostered in
The thing is,
23% of leagues, guys. We may have
yeah.
Loveland is definitely a candidate here.
I mean, as I said before, I think he's going to get an increased workload. That doesn't mean he's going to take off this game.
No.
Um,
No.
yeah, no. But I do think he has potential. Um, I think that means if DJ Moore doesn't play this week, or if he plays in a limited capacity, that's great for Odunze, for me.
Yeah, because
um,
Adunze's been quiet a little bit in the past 2 weeks, only 5 or 6 targets, especially with DJ Moore out, especially with Komet out. We could definitely see his targets hopefully going to 10, and that would give him a lot more opportunities. You could definitely see
Ra
that
Ra
as part of the script.
Ravens have also not been playing well defensively, so
Nope, they
uh,
have allowed on average the 26th worst in the league for passing yards. On average, 255. How is that possible? That's so terrible. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I mean that even spells a greater day for Adunze. I'm even saying, you may
I'm
want to
hoping,
look at
I'm
other
hoping,
other wide receivers if you're looking to gamble a bit. Burden.
yeah. Luther Burden I think could do decent, but uh, it's just a tough play. It's hard to gamble with the wide receivers, um, or with the Bears in general.
Yeah. Caleb Williams, though, he's been a great performer on the year, and other than the last game, he's really been a great quarterback to play. Are you playing him in a 1 QB league against Baltimore, which has given up so many passing yards on their defense?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Do I play?
Also, Baltimore has allowed the most amount of points on them. How has Baltimore fallen so far from what they used to be? It's just insane. They were a threat
I
last
think
year.
I say no. In the 12 QB league, no. I think there's enough really good, like to me, the top QBs are like Lamar, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Jalen, Herbert, Baker, Nix, Daniel Jones, Drake May, Dak.
But I
Oh,
feel
and
like
then that's like just tough.
if you don't have the option and Caleb is available, I feel like the matchup is there. The defense is there for him to get a 200 plus passing yards in this game.
Yeah. I think it's a good shout. Like he could easily get some good points here. Um, like as you said, the passing defense is weak. They're gonna be throwing it. The only problem I have is with DJ Moore out. That's one less weapon for him in the passing game for him to toss to.
Yeah.
Um,
But nobody was listening to his tracks anyways, right?
they were just he's not as good as Odunze.
No. All right. Well, defensively, are you playing the Bears or are you playing the Ravens or are you not taking the risk?
I wouldn't take the risk, no.
No. No. I mean, we're at home here and the Ravens, like I said, in the past, they have been known to win after the bye. There's something inside that stirs up in them and they get pissed and they come out and win. And I think at home, I'm gonna give it to the Ravens. I definitely see them coming out with a win this week. Well, thank
Excellent.
you, Maker, for joining me and talking the managers like we do each and every week. We invite all your start sit questions, and otherwise, we just love to talk about football. And we'll be back with more content in the future, so be sure to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Yes, until the next time, best of luck, and yeah, Maker, any outro words here?
Um, good luck everybody in your fantasy teams, and hopefully it's not as chaotic this week.
Yeah, and sorry for the creepy AI outro. All right, see you, everybody.
This has been The Managers.
See you next time. Thanks for tuning in.